Well, we've got about 80% odds right now that the Fed is going to cut interest rates in about 3 weeks' time. Probably about 80% odds as bull run continues in that scenario. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Lark, the 50-week EMA has a problem. Maybe we only get enough fuel in the tank for a relief rally up to $100,000, get the kiss of death right around the Fed meeting. Goblin Town after that. There's a lot of economic data coming out, of course, showing that we're heading in the right direction for the ISM PMI to finally have a breakout. It's a complicated situation, a lot of fear in the market still. But let's get into it. We're going to answer your questions in the second half of this video. Let's go. So, Daily Copium, welcome to it. LFG, Lark, indeed. Let's do it. So, Nick from CoinBear posted this. Odds of rate cut now 80%. Yo, it was 29% or something last week. It's always darkest before the dawn, says Nathan. That's right. Batman. It's always darkest before the dawn. Great movie. Dark Knight Rises. Fantastic. Anyway, man, we're not getting to movie reviews this early on. Lark's drunk. On sparkling water. Yes, I suppose so. Good morning from Amsterdam, Sin City. Good morning from Seattle. What is up? Nice to see everybody. So that's very interesting. Look, the financial conditions just keep getting looser. In a lot of ways, people are starting to get hired, all this kind of stuff. In a lot of ways, we're starting to see the U.S. economy recovering after essentially what has been a multi-year recession, even though they refused to call it a recession. The recessionary forces have been there, from high interest rates, frozen housing markets, jobs markets with incredible weakness and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Interest rate cuts are coming, baby. Let's go. Capital Flows posted this. People don't get it. This is national security, functionally an arms race. If you think the government is going to let Mag 7 default, you're cooked. That's in response to this. Amazon to invest up to $50 billion to expand AI and supercomputing infrastructure for U.S. government agencies. This is the thing that's going to keep the train running a lot longer than a lot of people expect the train is going to keep running. This, okay? There is a global arms race on right now for the control of the future. Whoever has the best AI companies is going to win it. Now, in a lot of respects, the United States has the best AI companies. Google, Facebook, NVIDIA, all this stuff, right? But don't count China out. China's very quietly doing stuff in the background here, and they've got some fantastic AI companies, and they're only going to get crazier and bigger. Okay, so the competition is incredibly fierce right now. Neither side can really afford to lose. That's the arms race issue, right? So they're just going to keep spending. And all that spending, okay, all this supercomputing infrastructure is going to require the building of warehouses. It's going to require the manufacture of all kinds of stuff, the delivery of that stuff, so on and so forth. It's going to create a lot of jobs over the next year or so. Anyway, very interesting. S&P 500 mini futures currently a little bit in the red, but not by very much. We had a nice move yesterday here. I know all this random stuff on the chart here. Should take some of this off, clean up a little bit. We had a nice move up here. Okay. But we're back at the 20-day EMA, short-term momentum indicator in the market here. RSI trying to break out here. MACD trying to move towards a bullish crossover. If you're going to get rejected somewhere, gosh darn, it's going to be in the underside retest the 20-day EMA, isn't it? NASDAQ, very similar situation. I know these indexes move pretty close together. NASDAQ's, of course, is just a little more volatile than the S&P 500 anyway. Also back up for a 20-day EMA underside retest. By the end of the week, we'd hope, if this is going to be a real turnaround here, that we'll see that closing back above the 20-day EMA. Let's see how we go. Guys, Google, it's interesting. Meet here summing things up, but Google's past 4 months. Warren Buffett top last $5 billion. DOJ case dropped. Gemini 3. Dude, been using Gemini over ChatGPT. Oh, it's so much better. Anyway, secures native cloud contract. 650 million Gemini monthly active use is crazy. Search revenue accelerates. Cloud growing 30%. TPU scaling aggressively. Whoa. Look at that, man. I know what you're thinking. Should have bought Google instead of literally almost any altcoin you bought over the last 2 years. Fuck. It's crazy. You know, from 2022 let's just do a quick experiment from 2022 when I was holding my AVAX bag going, AVAX is going to do something in the future. Could just buy Google, be up 275%. And to be fair, I mean, I sold the AVAX at a decent enough price, and it was pretty cheap back then. But damn, tell you what, it would have felt a lot better holding Google than holding AVAX. Anyway, one of those things is much more exciting than the other. Google equals CIA PSYOP, says loose for 999. I dig it. Maybe. Meta. Bought some more Meta over the last week. I do not have any position in Google right now. If you ever want to see my portfolio disclosures, all the stocks I own, stuff like that, link down below. As always, you also have a risk statement there because investing is risky. You can lose all your money. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. Past runs not equate to future returns. And I sure as hell am not your financial advisor. I'm just a dude sharing some opinions and education on the internet. Okay, there you go. So, very interesting moves here by Google. Worth noting, though, that is some seriously overbought RSI right here. Can it be more overboughter? Sure. But right now, getting pretty out there. Okay, Psychedelic posted this about Bitcoin. It's coming together here. The bear market doom callers are going to be sweating pretty soon. Over the next month, we're still going to climb the biggest wall of worry that's ever existed in crypto. Okay, RSI weekly corrected the same levels as the COVID crash. Okay, very interesting too. The stochastic. Look at the stochastic. Does the stochastic look like it's at the top of its cycle or the bottom of its cycle? It's very interesting, isn't it? The real G's know everything is a CIA PSYOP. Life is a CIA PSYOP. I mean, think about it. All this time, all this effort, and nobody gets out alive. They're remote viewing us right now, guys. Anyway, let's continue. When this stochastic crosses back over bullish, you can see what's happened previously. Boink, boink, boink. Also, mini boinks here, mini boink there, mini boinks here, stuff like that. So it's interesting. Usually, especially when you have such oversold conditions on it, it tends to be a powerful sort of beach ball underwater scenario, right? Continuing. Tighten the crypto, Bitcoin cycle shift underway. The other side of the argument here, the 2-week close below the blue line is now confirmed. I believe this marks the beginning of the bearish cycle phase. Upside from here is like limited to a retest of the blue line, $100,000. We talk about this a lot, okay? That move, whenever we get it back up to $100,000, is going to be so incredibly key because if you get rejected there, it's the kiss of death. If you break out there, all the bears are wrong. 4-year cyclists are wrong. 2026 is going to be the golden year of crypto. Oh, but if we get the kiss of death, start praying to the goblin overlords because it's going to be bad. Anyway. $150 million in outflows yesterday, mostly from BlackRock Bitcoin ETFs. Not many buyers. We had a little bit of buyers from Fidelity, but that was about it. Slow moves, but the good news is it didn't dump $1 billion. Okay, we got a pump in spite of the fact we had all those outflows yesterday. Hunter Horsley from Bitwise says TLDR wealth managers are going to buy hundreds of billions of dollars of crypto for their clients. It's going to take time, and that's fine. Perpetual bid is setting up here, okay? Bitcoin right now, I just want to point out first, before we actually look at the exact price action, the MACD, man. Holy cow. This has been a wild move down the MACD from the 10th of October, essentially, all the way down here. This has got to be one of the quickest speed runs we've had from some pretty high conditions on the MACD to just one of the most oversold conditions ever in MACD Bitcoin daily history. I mean, look at this. You got to go back a long time to find more oversold conditions. And guess what? That was all the way back in May 21, right around the mid-cycle reset. I think Lark's drunk today. I'm not drunk today. I do have a little bit of cold today, though. Kids, man. Kids. What are you going to do? Anyway, that's life. So, kids always get me sick and stuff, I tell you. I think that about my wife this time. But I think the kids got her sick. So, anyway. But interesting. Let's continue talking about the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin, it's had a nice move, okay? I just want to point out, obviously, since we got down to 80K here, we've had a nice little move up here. 10% up, not bad. We still have another 8% to go just to reclaim the 20-day EMA. Okay, that's a big move for Bitcoin. Okay, it's been very reflexive bounce off the bottom here, but we also have another 13% to go before we get up for the 50-week EMA test. Will we fail the retest? or will we break out? 13% away, and we'll answer that question. Okay. But you can see here, very interesting RSI downtrend here as well. I want to point out here for you. You can see, again, speed running from October 6th on slightly overbought conditions to very oversold conditions in just 6 weeks' time. Epic downtrend, currently in the process of attempting to be tested. So if we break out of the RSI downtrend here, will coincide, of course, with a MACD breakout. Very powerful potential for a move to the upside, okay? Always blame it on the kids, little virus fact. They sure are. They sure are, man. It's all part of the fun. Currently have no positions open on BitUnix, although I have been thinking about a few altcoin trades. I'll update you guys when I put them in next trade here. If you want to join me trading over on BitUnix, by the way, only a few more days left for their insane deposit bonus deal. Link down below, okay? So go check it out. Long the rip, short the dips. They got your big liquidity. Okay, they got the exotic coins you want to trade, whether you want to trade Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, Ethereum, whether you want to trade Dogecoins, they got you covered. Deposit $1,000, you get $200 back. $2,000, you get $400 back. This is crazy deals, guys. $5,000, you get $700 back. Plus, they have insane whale bonuses. Listen to this stuff. You put in $50K, you get $5 grand back. Who does that? That's crazy, man. $100K, $10 back in bonuses. Okay, these are absolutely crazy deals. Link down below. Go get signed up. It's only gonna last for a few more days, so your time's limited if you want to capture that deal. Go check it out. Okay, continuing. Bitcoin dominance. This is the monthly LMACD, last cross heralded the oncoming of altcoin season. This time we have the same signal, but it's paired with BTC weakness. We find some renewed strength in the market. There's a high chance that altcoins perform, but the time is running out. Very interesting chart here, isn't it? This is the weekly. That is a kiss of death, interestingly enough. Kiss of death for Bitcoin dominance, though. That's the interesting thing. Very, very interesting. Kiss of death right on the 50 and 20-week EMAs. Altcoin Alpha says every time the USDT dominance has crossed the weekly stochastic cross down for the last 28 months is when we had a rally. So you can see here, okay, right here, this is market cap USDT dominance. So you can see Jan 24, we had a rally. September 24, we had a rally. Whenever this goes down, basically crypto goes up. April 25, this basically marks the tariff fear peak. Started falling. And then, of course, prices of altcoins start going up. So if we start falling from here, good news. Okay. Came back up right into a previous support, now into resistance zone. You want to see this fall back heavily. Okay. Silver lining here, we did get into overbought conditions on this. Not the momentum wise overbought, right? You can only buy the dollar dominance indexes or anything like that, but you know what I'm saying. Continuing. Hunter Horsley, 3% of the supply of ETH now in the hands of BitMine. They are more than they are 2/3 of the way now to getting 5% of the supply. Interesting. Ethereum looking very similar, of course, to Bitcoin right now. Big fat downtrend potential here. This is very interesting. Check this out. Potential here for a bullish crossover in the coming days. Okay, don't count chickens before they hatch, but that's what the current charts are looking at. RSI downtrend still well in effect. I really need to get back over the 50 line here for this to say, okay, a big breakout is in effect on the RSI here for ETH. Still about 8%. Just to get back to the 20-day EMA, 200-day EMA is 21% overhead. I mean, big fat downtrend right now, man. Look at this. Guys, just lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. I mean, you need some real price action to break out of this current downtrend, okay? Just FYI, until otherwise proven, things are not looking fantastic, okay? Things can turn around very quickly. This is crypto. There's a lot of fear in the market. A lot of people on the 4-year cycle theory, in spite of the very positive macro conditions, in spite of the easing at the Fed, in spite of QT ending, in spite of all the good things that are happening out there, people remain paranoid. Check this out. This is wild. This is the Solana ETF inflows. $57 million Okay, now I know you're thinking, $57 million. Like, wow, it's not even that big of a number, man. Look, as a percentage market cap, that is the equivalent of Bitcoin having about $1 billion inflow day. And if Bitcoin has $1 billion inflow day, everybody goes, holy shit, that's a big day. Okay. Very interesting. Okay. Despite the market conditions, Wall Street is piling into Solana right now. Let's keep it simple. Until invalidated, the emotion-free base case is DCB to 98, 108K area, rejection, and a 2026 return to the 200-week MA. Yep, that's about it, David. That's the thing. We're in tricky market conditions right now, and if we do not convincingly take out the 50-week EMA, or simple moving average for the slower, more lagging indicator, then it's a problematic area. Okay, if we get the kiss of death there, that is like classic bad shit happening on the chart. Okay, if you break out there, hallelujah. So we're watching. Okay, we're watching, trying to let the data lead. Okay, Solana, nice little bounce yesterday here as well. Big fat downtrend in effect until otherwise proven. We need to get back above the 20-day EMA, currently $145. So it's not that far away. Okay, charts looking very similar. We do have, very interestingly, a MACD breakout here. Let's check this out. So this happened yesterday. MACD started breaking out. Let's see if that can continue. RSI breaking out. You can't really see it there, but it is breaking out there as well. I need to make that line thicker. RSI breaking out here as well. So the potential for Solana to rally here is very good, but it's not going to move without Bitcoin and Ethereum also moving. But you can see those ETF inflows are absolutely massive right now. So Wall Street is paying attention. They are buying shit tons of Solana right now. Eric Belkunis, there are 5 spot crypto ETFs launching over the next 6 days. Beyond that, we don't have exact, but we expect a steady supply of them, likely 100 in the next 6 months. 100 crypto ETFs in the next 6 months, man. It's finally happening, guys. I know it's happening at a time in the market, but nobody gives a shit about this happening anymore. But it is happening. Look at this. In the next 5 days, we are getting 2 Dogecoin ETFs, and 2, what is this? Hold on. 2 XRP ETFs. Interesting. And looks like, do I see a Grayscale Chainlink ETF approved for the 2nd of December? Cool, man. Didn't even realize. Holy cow. Here's the XRP chart. Man, this thing just does wild things, doesn't it? But whenever we break out of this big fat line here, this is the weekly chart, by the way, in case you're wondering why it looks funky. Once we break out of that big fat line right there, man, something big's going to happen for XRP. Until that point, XRP heads, careful. No Cardano ETF, not yet apparently. I think there's applications for Cardano ETF. That's going to be the one of those 100 that are coming still. But you're going to get SUI ETFs and all kinds of stuff too. Yeah, I guess we're going to get Cardano ETF. Doesn't going to change anything for Cardano, but we will get a Cardano ETF. Barra posted this the last 7 to 8 days. Pump revenues have dropped almost 50%. This happening at a time when the pump chart looks extremely sus. Alon, the guy behind it, is missing in action. Team is moving $400 million of treasury funds. Doesn't look good. Problematic. Chart is definitely suffering here for pump. Big downtrend, much like everything else. Potentially a bullish MACD crossover coming in a few days. RSI still a bit behind here as well. 20-day EMA. It's going to take a move to get us up there, guys. 20% just to get back to or above the 20-day EMA, okay? It's not so dissimilar from a lot of altcoins right now, but just, oh my God, Fartcoin's doing it, man. Fartcoin's doing it. Oh my God. We were talking about this yesterday, by the way. The Fartcoin trade here. Is this an early indicator of risk coming back into the markets? Maybe. Maybe. Certainly Fartcoin pumping. I mean, it's up 100% in 3 days, but that's kind of just normal Fartcoin stuff. Hot air rises when the time, of course, is ready for it. It's very interesting, actually. There's probably some pretty cool trade potential here if that can maintain above the 20-day EMA. Hasn't closed with a 20-day EMA in a very long time. Last time was 6th of October when Bitcoin topped, and that, of course, ended up being a fake out. Interesting. Let's see. Let's see if that can hold. I'm not trading this currently, but gosh darn it, I might. I just damn might. Anyway, we'll see. I'll let you guys know. This interesting Star Platinum posted this. He said, I tracked more than 60 ICOs launched in 2026 with confirmed token generation events. Then I ran a simple experiment. What would happen if I had invested $10,000 in every ICO from the 15 projects with full live data and clear pricing? The total capital used under $2,000. Current value of that is 4.66 million. Total return of 3,000%. Now, basically one MYX Finance, which essentially no one's ever heard of, and I don't even know what it does, to be honest. Something, Binance Coin, huge crime, whatever. Anyway, that went up 30,000%. Something called OKZoo, almost 9,000%. Particle Network, 500%. Hyperlane, 360. Solomon Labs, 70. Monad, about 12%. I think it's up a little more than that currently. Most of these would have been big losses, like Barachain down 94%. Jeez Louise. Anyway, here we go. Monad is out. After the long wait, Monad is back. Monad launched at $2.6 billion FDV. It's crazy. And I think his point's really good that he's going to make here. Check this out. Binance launched at $30 million. Ethereum, $22 million. Solana, $110 million. Today, BNB is up 4,400x, ETH's up 15,000x, Solana's up 657x. You know why those gains are possible? Because the launch valuations weren't delusional. Now compare Monad's launch FDV to theirs. 23x higher than Solana, 86x higher than Ethereum, and 116x higher than BNB. At this point, what are we going to do? We're launching chains of valuations. The legends only reached after years of proving themselves over years of building, grinding, and shipping real value. These new projects just want the end game valuation on day one. So people ask, why aren't we seeing 100, 500,000x runs anymore? We priced the upside out of the system before the market even had a chance. Are we cooked? Or are we finally ready to admit the launch models are broken? The launch models are broken, 100%. Who the hell is buying Monad? You know, I mean, I guess, look, the circulating valuations like $300 million. There might be a trade there, much like with like XPL or something like that. There was a trade there, very short term. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying there could be a trade there. But man, it's a very good point. Of course, man. We're launching at these insane valuations. And what has it been for basically every blockbuster ICO launch for the last year? What happens? They come out, they go down only. A few of them have had big pumps, and then they're down only. Look at XPL. XPL is now 95% down or some shit like that. It's crazy shit. But as long as teams keep throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at them and investors keep throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at them, this shit's going to keep happening. You know, remember back in 2017, they would say, okay, we're going to raise 20,000 Ethereum or something in our ICO. And they'd let, I don't know, 10,000 investors in who could put in 2 ETH each, for example. That was it. You got on the whitelist, you got off. You didn't, you didn't. And then they'd launch at a relatively decent valuation, and then you had a chance for an upside. Now it's just like, man, even if you get into the pre-sale or something for some of this stuff, I mean, by the way, pre-sale investors are up massively on this. I think I saw somebody saying something like, if you got into the seed round on this, you would have put in $10,000. It's worth like $1.3 million or something else. So even if this thing goes down 90%, which will probably at some point, still made 10x your money. Jeez Louise. Anyway. This picture of all pictures. Charles Hoskinson made a pretty funny comment on X. He said, you do understand what I do for a living. I literally make decentralized central banks and rebuilt Wall Street on a blockchain. Interesting. Is this decentralized central bank in the room with us now? Or this decentralized Wall Street? Charles, you know, I love you, man, but come on, man. The Cardano user base is abysmal. I don't even know. But this picture is gold, man. This picture is gold. Whoever got that perfect moment. Anyway, guys, our Black Friday sale is still live for just a few more days here. Link down below. It's an insane deal. Of course, if you're not signed up to our newsletter yet, you can get a free membership to our newsletter. We also run an insane premium newsletter that gives you a weekly stock report, a weekly altcoin report, weekly trading charts, weekly DeFi report, airdrops. Okay. It's insane. And you go to our Discord. Okay. That's where me and the team are there. We're there all the time. We're answering questions. We're helping people out. You're able to talk to us. You're able to talk to the members of the community. It's absolutely amazing. Insane value. Insane value. Plus, you're going to get all of our courses for free. That's the Bitcoin course. That's the altcoin course. And that is the trading course. All free with a 40% discount on the rest of the stuff. It's insane. The Black Friday deal is nuts. You got to go check it out. Link down below. Thank you very much. So, 24/7 customer support. As long as one of us isn't sleeping, we're there. We got pretty well geographically covered, though, for sure. Sue, the Discord is the best place to be. It is a good spot to hang out, for sure. Lark, check Suey. Can it maintain the pump? Is Suey pumping? Are we back? Are we back? Suey's back, baby. Let's go. Let's have a look. I haven't looked at the Suey chart here in a few days, guys. Let's have a peek. Suey. USD. Sway, in case you're wondering, by the way. Okay. Sway, not Suey. Very nice. Look. Nice bounce. This looks like every other chart right now, essentially. Okay, so most coins have had this kind of little bounce yesterday. It's nothing specific to Suey. That's the problem. When we get back up to the 20-day EMA, you say, yeah, momentum's returning. That's at $1.75 right now. But it's not going to do that without the rest of the market. Like I struggle to see a situation where Suey just blasts off to the moon while Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin all stagnate under the 20-day EMA. Is it possible? Yes. Is it the most likely scenario? Not necessarily. Okay. So it's kind of following along with what's happening with Solana right now. The Solana chart looks very similar to this, for example. So nothing particularly outstanding about the Suey chart right now. No sort of independent strength that I'm seeing, not bashing on Suey. It's just what the chart's showing, right? It's not making its own sort of moves here. The market is just broadly responding to the ups and downs and the push and pull of the tides in the liquidity market right now. Continuing. Monad has 12% staking already in Gemini. Oh, no. You see, I want you to run the math real quick. How much is 12% staking worth if your coin goes down 90%? Not saying it's going to happen to Monad. In fact, I think that with the current market cap, I could see like a 5 or 10x pump, much like we saw with XPL and a few of the other ones over the last year or so. I'm not saying that's a guaranteed situation to happen. I mean, big VC coin, a lot of airdroppers, okay, a lot of ICO participants who are going to have a shit ton of coins to dump. But yeah, don't let those high APYs for staking get you distracted from the reality of what that means. It's the beard that gets the girls. I mean, look, man, that beard's magical, okay? Not only does Charles pull the girls, he's also able to keep his blockchain somehow in a plus $10 billion valuation, 15 billion or something, 17 billion, whatever right now. It's the power of the beard, man. You got to respect it. Staking with $50. Well, yeah, everybody starts somewhere, man. Everybody starts somewhere. Oh, yeah, pulled a sweet 10 to 35x on the new Smoking Chicken Fish is back, by the way. The brothers have returned. Oh, these guys. Anyway, the Smoking Chicken Fish dudes are back. And yeah, Jesse, I think, found it at like, I don't know, $100,000 market cap or something like that. I should have bought some. Should have thrown a couple Solana in. Didn't do it. But some of the other guys in the Discord did, and they've absolutely cooked on that thing. It's absolutely nuts, man. Anyway. What is the win rate? You know, we need to start tracking this. We don't keep a particular tight track on the percentage of the win rates that we have, but we should. Something to keep an eye on. We do okay, but, you know, we should put some hard data behind that. Bitcoin will repeat the NVIDIA pump. This, yes. From the words of Douglas Adams, don't panic. Man, what a great book series, Nathan. What, have you read all the books? The first one, of course, is great, but there's like 6 or 7 books. Good story. Lark looking very dapper on the Lacoste shirt. Thank you very much, mate. The Gonad launch was a joke. It's already below pre-sale price. People with airdrop tokens locked up. If I understand correctly, it was even listed. Even delisted. Coinbase stopped selling for a few minutes. Apparently, there was too much selling going on. Oh no, people are selling their airdrops. Quick, turn off the sell button. Yeah. Eric Trump showing up as Chinese ant miners. America, baby. Yeah, it would be good if America. There is. Who's doing it? What's the American company making Bitcoin miners? Did Jack Dorsey start making Bitcoin miners in America? I feel like he did. Some American companies started making Bitcoin miners. But yes, the two biggest Bitcoin mining machine companies in the world are Bitmine and Canaan. And they're both based out of China. I think Canaan may have set up shop in America as well. But anyway. Ah, yes, delisted. Yeah, no, it didn't get delisted. Monad has not been delisted from Coinbase. What is the potential of Bitcoin living on Cardano? Well, look, any Bitcoin that gets bridged to Cardano is some kind of wrapped variant. There's no liquidity for anything. Like there's, I don't know, probably not enough liquidity on the chain to be able to swap a couple Bitcoin, if we're being honest about the situation. In terms of, moving Bitcoin onto Cardano or something, it's just, Cardano, this is the thing. It's so far behind even in that conversation. Think about it. It's so far behind even in that conversation. We've had wrapped Bitcoin and stuff on Ethereum and Solana for years now. Anyway, and again, I want to live in the world where, Cardano wins and all these nerds and beards and shit just make a shit ton of great things happen. But yeah. Do you like Wisconsin? I've never been. Never been. Monad TVL is a joke. Monad's up 40%. Yeah, I saw a decent bump there. Don't know about you guys, but I definitely use some deflation right now, at least on food. Well, hopefully Trump, he rescinded tariffs on 100 different food items. So fingers crossed that actually helps fight inflation a little bit in America. What's the biggest lesson you learned in crypto? So many of them. So many. I don't even, you know what? Where do you want to start? The biggest lesson, I don't know. I feel like there's 100 lessons. The number one biggest one, take profits or the market will take them for you. Let's do that one because that's always true. Cardano, yeah, that's true. Cardano may not have liquidity, and it may not have many daily users, and it may not have very many applications, and it may not have stable coins, and it may not have perp dexes doing anything relevant or almost no amount of daily dex volume or really anything. But it has got a lot of white papers, man. A shit ton of white papers. So it's got that going for it. Might make more sense for me to buy a plane ticket to the US once a month for groceries. Oh my God. That's crazy. Word on the street is Thanksgiving food prices are the cheapest they've been in years. Not sure how this is possible. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Maine, what is up? Good morning. Morning. I guess you got a nice cold November morning up there in Maine. You must have snow already. Cardano may have a reason to exist, but hey, there it is. Lots of feels like a lot of coins, man. Like, yeah, there it is. But there it is, man. It's just out there. Iceland, nice. Only investor you can afford to lose. XRP is still top performer against Bitcoin in the last year and longer term 5 years. Expect the unexpected. Amen to that. Where's Brad Garlic House? He's gone quiet eating Italian pasta. The Garlic House abides, sir. What is your favorite stock for pick and shovel play on AI? That's an interesting one. I don't know. Maybe Qualcomm. I'm buying a decent Qualcomm and AMD, but let's just say Qualcomm, because Qualcomm is going to be bringing out within the next year, assuming everything goes to plan, their competitor chips to what NVIDIA is doing with Blackwell, right? So there's a big thing. We talked about this with Google. Of course, Google's got their own proprietary processors right now, and we got Qualcomm coming out next year with them. So interestingly, NVIDIA's had this weird monopoly on stuff for the time that it has. But now you're going to see Qualcomm and AMD and Google and probably a couple other companies coming to that as well. So NVIDIA might cool off more than people expect, but others come in. And it's not to say the AI revolution stops. It would actually be a healthy thing to have less concentration of the market directly in NVIDIA, and for some of these other companies to step up and take some more of that market share. Lark, we've been crashing since we've been sitting down. Maybe we'll try standing up tomorrow. See what happens. Going to Iceland next year. Bought my plane tickets last week. You guys should hang out. Seriously. It should be named Beardcoin. Didn't know Iceland was that rough. Prices get pretty crazy in some of these countries. Could it be that we need some kind of groundbreaking development in the crypto industry to move up? Not necessarily. Quantum resistance is going to come anyway. But we just need more of the same. That's the thing. Sometimes there's this expectation that something groundbreaking and amazing has to happen. And honestly, the tech keeps moving forward. The tech just literally keeps getting better all the time. So that's one thing. But on the other side of it, just keep bringing more RWAs on chain. Keep bringing more stablecoin use cases, all this kind of stuff. More of the same that we've been doing. Crypto's already revolutionary technology. What's the stock? QUALCOMM. The ticker, I think, is QCOM, Qualcomm. Reindeer sausages for breakfast. Fartcoin technology. Seems like buying AI stocks right now is like buying the peak right now. It depends on the stocks you're buying. Look, if you're buying NVIDIA right now or Google, yeah, you're top blasting, right? But then look at some of the data center stocks. They went down 50, 60% on this recent correction. They're basically the equivalent of altcoins in the market, right? But that doesn't change the reality of what they're doing. They're building giant warehouses for the AI revolution. They have the power, which is going to be a major, sticking point. And then chip manufacturers like Qualcomm, potentially 10-year plays, right? Not saying you got to get rich with it off of it overnight or anything like that, but if you can take a 10-year time frame, things get pretty interesting. Bought some Qualcomm last week. American Bitcoin, World Liberty Fi. I wonder if they'll have bullish runs before Trump leaves office. Could see it. At some point, they're going to want to pump the crap out of these things, aren't they? So they can cash out. Lark, you might want to look out for press releases on crypto in the next 2 hours. Interesting. Lark, I've been staking Astar. How's the chart? Chart's been pretty interesting. Let's have a look at it. Chart's been relatively interesting. Hasn't quite hit the breakout moment yet, but you can see here, unfortunately, MACD is showing a loss of momentum here in the short term. It does need to turn around. Let's see if we can actually make this into a bit of a cup and handle here. That would be nice. Let's see. If that is, then expect a breakout beyond this, but you really need the price to get a significant move above about, say, $1.30 or so. to say there's going to be a big breakout coming here, but I think it's one that I would not fade personally. That's why I have in my portfolio. Doge is breaking out of my wedge. You can take a look. Yes. Yes, let's have a look at Doge. Well, Doge just got an ETF. So that's pretty exciting, isn't it? Doge. Wait. Let's put it on screen here for you. What do we got? See, I want to draw this here. Oh, it looks like it's got a big fat channel here, which we've been on the bottom side of that channel for quite a long time. 20-day EMA hangs not too far overhead. MACD has been a very mixed bag, really. We had a nice run back here in September, but ever since then, it's just been flipping back and forth, essentially. Maybe the ETFs finally get this thing moving if people actually start buying, serious amounts of Dogecoin via the ETFs. I can see why they're buying Solana, Dogecoin. The value proposition's a little bit less clear, to be honest. Anyway, let's see. 20-day EMA, 16 cents. That would be the breakout trade here to make 16 cents, at least up to this sort of 20-cent zone at the top of the channel. Again, it's a very bearish looking chart. Everything looks bearish on it right now, much like basically everything else in the market. Lower highs, lower lows, trading at all the key EMAs, cooked like everything else. The question is whether we can turn that around and get it moving. Now, if we break out of that channel at some point in the not so distant future, that's a big move, man. That's about a 10-cent move. So you see it rally back up to, like, let's say around this area, 30 cents or something like that. Wouldn't be that crazy. But anyway, right now, not too much action going on here at the Dogecoin charts. Pardon me, which is more local. Okay. Smaller time frames, fair enough. I want to buy Bitcoin ETFs because I don't have to worry about cold storage and hackers. I think about the same thing. I was just having a conversation with some of my colleagues from, the crypto world here today. And man, the amount of bullshit that goes on. Just some article on Decrypt just the other day about some family, people break down the front door or whatever, and they're beating people up. They're they're, SAing people and stuff like that. And holy shit, stuff out of your nightmares. Part of the reason why I moved to Dubai, I think, wow, New Zealand's a very safe country. Yeah, it was. Unfortunately, a lot of things in New Zealand that do not make me feel so safe anymore. Violent crimes on the rise for a long time. The kind of violent crime that you, growing up in New Zealand back in the day, kind of violent crime you just never heard about. Like violent home invasions, people kicking down your front door with machetes and stuff like that. That's starting to happen in New Zealand. Stuff that does not happen in Dubai, by the way. Anyway, I think about buying Bitcoin ETFs. The problem is, of course, then you're not in charge of your Bitcoin. BlackRock is. That makes me uncomfortable. Maybe there's a balance, though. Maybe I put half my Bitcoin into ETFs and the other half keep it on chain. It's fine. Don't think BlackRock's gonna do anything with my Bitcoin. But what if they do? Anyway. Yep. No firearms in NZ. Well, yes and no. You can get a gun if you want to in New Zealand. It's a common misconception. In fact, you could actually get some pretty powerful guns until recently. There was that guy that went in and killed dozens of people in some mosques down in Christchurch. After that, they decided, well, you know what? Maybe we don't need assault rifles anymore. Crazy idea. But you can have firearms. It's just a bit more of a process to get them. It's not as easy to get as it is in most states in America. You actually have to go through a bit more of a process and have a vault at your house and stuff like that. But yeah, if you really want one, you can and get in New Zealand, which is interesting because I think the big thing is this just not the gun culture there that you have. Like America's got like a gun culture, man. Like, guns, yeah, man, let's go. Like my dad's got like, I shit you not, like 30 guns. My brother's got like, I don't know, 20 guns. It's crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. People have guns in New Zealand, mostly farmers and stuff like that. But anybody can get a gun. As long you have to go through background checks and stuff like that. As long as you're not a criminal or some shit, then yeah, you can get a gun in New Zealand. Generally, though, you don't need it, but it is a frustrating thing because, like, you know, you can get the gun in New Zealand, right? But you got to keep it in your safe. Now you can not, but if you got kids in the house, of course you want to keep it in the safe anyway. But yeah, that's the thing. Oh no, somebody's just kicked down my front door. Hold on a second. Just gonna go to my bedroom here and just open my safe up real quick. It's problematic. One of the frustrating things about New Zealand, though, is you're not even allowed to have like pepper spray. I never liked that. Like, come on. I understand. Okay, you know what? Everybody walking around with guns, fine. I get that. But like, you know what? Pepper spray, like, come on. So if someone breaks into my house, like, and I beat them with a baseball bat, I'm getting in trouble for, you know, using a weapon. Well, it's crazy stuff. Or, you know, I'm like, okay, my wife's walking around. Things are, you know, not as safe as they used to be in New Zealand, especially walking down dark streets. And I'll get my wife, you know, some pepper spray. Can't do it. Can't have it. It's a weapon. Anyway, what the hell are we talking about? Lark, you enjoy the devil's grass, don't you? It has been a very, very long time. I have no interest in doing it anymore. No problem with anyone doing it, to be clear. But I just do not care about it anymore. You know, it's funny. When I was visiting my dad, he lives by an Indian reservation. We went down and got some gas. And they give away a free, you know, rollie with, you know, you get $20 for the gas, you get a free doobie. And my dad's like, we got to get it. I'm like, why? I don't smoke. You don't smoke. Yeah, we got to get it anyway because it's free. Like, okay, screw it. Let's get it. Had it in the car for like 2 days. Like, man, that thing is just stinking the heck out of this car, man. What do we even get this for? But yeah, God, it's been a very, very long time since I had partaken of the devil's grass there. And no real plans to do that, to be honest. I smoked with Lark's brother. He does still partake once in a while. Anyway, but man, this has been such a long time. You know, it just kind of got to the point where it just, I don't know. It's not that I'm against it by any means. I certainly had my time with it back when I was a young man, but just do not care about it anymore. It's crazy. Doesn't do it for me. If I'm gonna have something to be laying back a little bit, a couple glasses of wine or something, even then I just, you know, I don't go crazy on that either. Anyway, I guess these kind of questions mean the Q&A session's over for today, doesn't it? We're literally talking about devil's grass and firearms here, guys. I think it's time for us to finish up. You guys are awesome. I appreciate your time. As always, we'll be back tomorrow with the latest updates on the news, the markets, and everything going on out here in the world. Thank you very much. I'll see you then. Peace.